Hi friends, today we are going to discuss a design pattern called materialized view pattern. Now we have discussed this before, but we are going to discuss it separately also because it is a very useful pattern if you are able to harness its power. So generally what happens is you have an application which is doing some interaction with the database, and your application is basically updating or inserting data in the database. So this is the write application. And generally what happens is there are multiple parties which want to access the data that has been saved. So they are going to query this database. They are going to access this database. And if this data is denormalized, then there are going to be multiple information for a particular item or for a particular ID. For example, there are going to be multiple tables in which data is going to be distributed according to its normalization. For example, order data can be present here, item data can be present here, catalog data can be present here, etc. etc. So when these read applications, let's say R1, R2, and R3 wants to access this data, they have to write complex queries, and they have to write their queries according to the format in which data is saved. This creates a bottleneck in your system because read applications are now dependent upon the schema in which data has been written. So what you can do is, rather than having these applications read directly from the write database, you can create views over your database. So this is your database. An application is writing and updating in it, and you can create views over your database. So this can be RV1 and RV2, and service R1 is going to read from the read view RV1, and service R2 is going to read from RV2. So what is happening is these views are being populated, or these views are being created from the database in which data is being written. This can be done by multiple ways. For example, if you have an event sourcing queue, if you're using event sourcing pattern, you can have a queue of updates or queue of events that are happening in your database, and these are being applied over your views, so that these views are basically optimized for the type of queries that R1 and R2 fire, or R1 and R2 wants to access. For example, if R1 wants to access order data and catalog data, currently what it has to do is it has to write a complex query over this database, and it might not be optimized query because of the indexes that are present for write optimized database. So what you can do is you can create a view over order and catalog, so that order and catalog information are present at the same place, and you have created indexes according to the filter patterns, according to the search patterns fired from service R1, so that the access of data from service R1 has been optimized. Similarly, access queries or the data pattern in which data is saved in RV2, read view 2, has been optimized so that queries are more efficiently run. The queries that are fired from read service R2 are more efficiently run on read view RV2. Similarly, if they are not accessing all of the data, they want to access only a subset of data, in this pattern in which you are reading directly from the database in which your data is saved, you have to access all the data, you have to basically filter through all the data that is saved. Whereas in read views, you can create a view in which you are saving only the data that is required by a service R1. Views are basically optimized for the type of queries that they have to that will be run on them. Views are generally optimized for a very small subset of queries which are frequently run, so that they provide an optimization to the reading service. So as we have discussed, we are not using views just for getting complex data, just for providing a simpler queries for service RV1. We also use views when we want to have, when we have calculated columns, when we want to view calculated data. For example, if R1 was to directly access data from WriteDB or DB in which your data was written, then it would have to calculate something and then use it. What we can do is we can create a view which has those calculated columns present in it. So R1 does not need to calculate those values again and again. It can just access the view which has calculated columns present in it, and it is going to improve its performance because it does not have to calculate the columns or calculate the values again and again. So storing calculated values is also one of the use cases of having views. Besides having calculated columns, you can also do transformations on your data. You can do aggregations. Rather than doing aggregations in real time on the right database, you can create a database which has views over aggregate, like you can have daily order count. You can have monthly order count, and you can have yearly order count. So what happens is, if these aggregation queries were going to be run directly on the write database, which is optimized for write, it is going to take time and it is going to impact performance of our reading services. But if we have views which have pre-calculated these transformations or pre-calculated these aggregations, then it is going to be very efficient for service R1 to get that data from view 1. So this is also one of the use cases of having views, where you are having pre-transformed data or pre-aggregated data saved in a view. Since the views does not have independent data present in them, what you can do is, if you want to change the view, or if your read application wants to access data using another pattern or another query, you can create these views using the data that is already present in your source of truth database. And once your view is ready, your read application can start reading from this view. So no changes are required on the main database. Only new views have to be created to optimize your application or to create new and efficient applications. And this view can be discarded and new view can be created. You do, which is even more optimized for other use cases. So it all depends. Your views are disposable. Now, one thing we have to keep in mind is all the updates insert are going to the right databases, and views are not updated in real time. You can do that. What you have to do is, you can have a pipeline in which your updates or inserts are coming to your main database, and then these updates are being applied to your views depending on how your views are created. And then these views are basically accessed by the reading applications. So these views are sort of like caches, and since the actual data is being written in your main databases and reading is being done from the views, then we have to understand that there is going to be eventual consistency. There are going to be always going to be some updates which have been applied in the main database but are still missing from the views. Maybe they are in the pipeline or in the buffer that is present between views and main database. So you should design your application keeping this in mind, that there is going to be eventual consistency. It's called eventual consistency. So these views are basically these views are being created from the event queue or event pipeline that is being exposed by the main database. You can also decide that you don't want a real-time updates on the views. You can do a batch processing or once in a day processing or manual trigger to update those views with the new information. This all depends on your business use case, if you want real-time updates in your views or not, because real-time updates are going to create consistency problems when you don't take into consideration that your systems are only eventual consistent rather than consistent all the time. If you're reading from main database, then it is going to get right data every time. If you're reading from the views, then you're going to get eventual consistency. And now let's see what are the advantages and disadvantages of having views. First, frequent updates on your database can create excessive load on your service that is materializing the views or that is powering the views. So you have to decide whether you want real-time updates in the views or not. That is your choice. In event sourcing pattern, you're not having a proper database. You are just pushing the updates in the event queues, and then you're creating views over these events. So if so these views are basically the single source from where you can read the data, and they are created using events pushed in the queue, and you can create any view that you want. And you have to ensure, generally what happens is views are tailored for a particular small number of queries. So decision on how many views do you want for your application and what should be the structure of your views depends on your use case. As we have already discussed, there's always going to be eventual consistency because writes are happening somewhere and reads are happening somewhere. So you have to write your application considering eventual consistency in mind. Views are generally created to improve your query efficiency. Your system can continue to work without having views, but they provide query performance. And you can store these views in your caching store or a less reliable store if your views are not that critical. It is good to have all the columns all the data that your application wants to access, be it actual data that is stored in the database or be it computed columns. This is going to improve your performance because you don't have to compute the values again and again. They can be accessed directly from your views. So having computed columns is a major advantage. As we have already discussed, you can have indexes on your views that is going to increase performance of your queries even further. Now this materialized view pattern is advantageous in situations when your read queries directly to your database are very complex and they are doing a lot of transformation or doing a lot of work. So in those cases, you can create materialized views. Now, one of the interesting scenarios is you can create views when you don't have continuous access to the data store. When you don't have consistent access to the data store. One example of this is when you are using a browser and you are accessing a particular website, there is some technology in which uses the in-browser data store to interact with your application. So this is your application. Let's suppose this is your application and this is your browser. So what your front-end application can do is it can create a view in the in-browser database and it can keep on updating this database, and when the connection is established to your application, it can basically sync this database or sync the values in the database to your remote application. So your application will continue to work even if the connectivity to your remote application is lost. So this is one of the very exciting advantages of having a view in which you are saving the view in the in-memory database of your browser. Another advantage of having views is you can create a view as per your security policy. For example, if some subset of users are to be given access to a particular columns in the table or particular tables, and some other subsets need more access, so you can create different views and you can give access to these views directly to your subset of users rather than giving full access to your main database. So this is going to provide a security enhancement in your application architecture. Having views between your application, this is your database and these are your read applications. Having views between your read applications can create a loose coupling, can basically reduce your coupling between your main database. So rather than reading directly from your main database, you can create views and it reduces the coupling between your read applications and your database, so that main application can change the schema of your database without affecting your read applications. Now this Materialized view pattern is not suitable in which you want, in cases where you want high consistency. Views are going to be eventually consistent, so highly consistent application should avoid using views. And even if and when you have very simple databases or very simple application, you should avoid using views because it is going to add extra complexity, extra cost, because storing views is going to add cost to your infrastructure. And this is the materialized view pattern. That's all for it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know your views and comments. That was a pun intended. Thank you and have a nice day.